Hello everyone, welcome to Advanced Knowledge Systems and a warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy. It offers examination coaching for UPSC CSC, State Public Service Commission, SSC Combined Graduate Level and CLAT examinations. And about me, I am Sandeep Bhushan Thumala and I take up the analysis of the Hindu newspaper of today's, that is of 25th May 2021. And throughout my session, I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases from the Hindu newspaper, wherein we will identify the factual, analytical and conceptual questions which will be critical for UPSC prelims perspective. And also, once you get into the mode of imbibing the keywords and the key phrases in your answer writing for the mains examination, it will be very useful for it so that your answers in the mains examinations would be precise and concise, and you will certainly score higher marks in the mains examination. So therefore, this session at AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis will certainly help you to clear both prelims as well as mains of the year 2021. And before we get into the analysis of the newspaper, we will first focus at the quote of the day. And the quote of the day says that winners are not people who never fail, but people who never quit. So what is the most important thing that if you want to win or have success is that the point is not about failing. The point is about not quitting. So do not quit. Certainly you will have success. And now we'll look into the analysis of the newspaper, which talks about the migrant workers. And here the Supreme Court has made a statement in regards to the migrant workers and how they would think in regards to the national lockdown or mini lockdown. So the Supreme Court has said on May 24, 2021 that the migrant workers, that is who are scared or unemployed and hungry migrant workers, may just want to go home, and they are hardly caring about the finer nuances, that is the difference between national and mini lockdown. So the emphasis was made by the Supreme Court saying that the scared, unemployed and hungry migrant workers do not know, or they hardly care for the difference between the national lockdown and mini lockdown which is being imposed by the government. And a bench of Justice Ashok Bhushan and Shah, while they were hearing the case of a suo motu, which was in regards to the providing migrant laborer families who are marooned in a big cities, that is who are now staying in a big cities with dry ration and cooked food and public transport. And what the court is now talking about is that the center has to provide to the scared, unemployed and hungry migrant workers dry ration, cooked food and public transport, so that the workers who are traveling home or traveling to the villages would be provided or would have access to the dry ration, cooked food and public transport. So here the point what the Supreme Court has said is the migrant workers are not really caring about the differences between the national and mini lockdown, and definitely they are in regards to making sure that they ought to be provided the ration, dry ration, cooked food and public transport. And Justice Bhushan has said that the documents which have been mentioned or which has been in regards to the providing some kind of help to the migrant workers, they cover only the migrant workers who are under the Food Security Act. And the court is talking about the people who are not just under the Food Security Act, that is who have the ration card, but the court also is talking about, or it is emphasizing on the migrant workers who are part of the unorganized sector, that is unorganized laborers, that the unorganized laborers who are moving from one place to another place for the work, or now who are moving from the megacities to the villages because of the national, or it could be the mini lockdown now in the second wave, that is in the year 2020. The court talks about those unorganized laborers who could not be expected to have the ration cards. So here the court has very specifically spoken about not only the one who is having the ration card, but the court is also worried about the unorganized laborers who are not having the ration cards, that the center has to provide the dry ration, cooked food and public transport to them. And the court has asked the center to file an affidavit of how the center is going ahead with providing the dry ration to the migrant workers under Atmanirbhar scheme. So here the two key phrases what we need to focus is that the Food Security Act and the Atmanirbhar scheme, because the center is center has asked this, or the court has asked the center to file an affidavit that how the dry ration is being provided to migrant workers under the Atmanirbhar scheme. And in regards to this, the center has responded saying that, or the center has gone ahead with submitting that it has opened up control rooms to provide assistance to the migrant workers who are moving from the cities towards the villages. And this government has said that it is the responsibility of the states to provide cooked food for stranded migrant workers. So it is that these Supreme Court has spoken about the scared, unemployed and hungry migrant workers, how they think about, or they do not really care about the difference between the national milli lockdown, and the center has asked or else the court is asking the center to provide the dry ration, cooked food and public transport to the workers who are traveling home from the mega cities. And there is another news in regards to the land regulations or new land regulations in the Lakshadweep Islands, which now is certainly getting into a mode of sparking a protest in the Lakshadweep Islands. And we know that there were a slew or a record of regulations which were introduced by the administrator or Praful Khoda Patel of the Lakshadweep group of islands. And because of this various regulations which were introduced by the administrator in regards to the Lakshadweep group of islands have sparked the discontent, and they are now in the protest that they wanted the administrators or the government of India to reverse back the regulations which were passed or introduced by the administrator of the Lakshadweep Island. And this is certainly creating a spark discontent and wide range protest against the proposed regulations. And the islanders are pointing out that the legislations or the kind of administrations which they have come up with, the proposed regulations are out of sync with the social and environmental realities of the Lakshadweep group of island, that is archipelago. So certainly the islanders are talking about the proposed regulations by the administrator of the Lakshadweep Island, that these proposed regulations are not or out of sync with the social and environmental realities. And when we look up in regards to the what is the development, what the administrator of the Lakshadweep Island has gone ahead with introducing the regulations are in regards to the creation of the Lakshadweep Development Authority. So there was an authority which was created, that is Lakshadweep Development Authority, and this authority would be provided with an extensive power including the eviction of landowners for the development of the Lakshadweep Islands. And this is widely read, that is the eviction of the landowners, which would be an extensive power created by the Lakshadweep Development Authority, is the one which the islanders feel that they would be pushed by the real estate lobby against the interest of the islanders. That is why there is a protest, and definitely there is a discontent among the inhabitants, that is the islanders, that the entire slew of regulation or the proposed regulations are not syncing with the social and environmental realities of the islands. And the islanders are opposing the plan, which they say that this is an ecologically fragile island, wherein the government or the central government has come up with the Lakshadweep Development Authority, wherein the ecological fragile islands are tiny islands and they are thickly populated. That is why there is an discontent and there is an protest against the Lakshadweep Development Authority, and hundreds of islanders have written to the administrator that they wish to, the administrator has to withdraw the proposed regulation. So that is one, the islanders have written to the administration demanding the withdrawal of the proposed regulations. And the regulations, what it's as per the Lakshadweep Development Authority, it empowers the government and it identifies the administration. So this is, it empowers the government, it when the regulation are identified as the administrator, so that the administrator can constitute the planning and development authorities and to plan the development of any area which is identified as a bad layout or an absolute development. That means wherein there is no development at all and wherein there is a bad layout. So in that case, the proposed regulation empowers the administrator to constitute a planning and development authorities to plan the development of any area. And in that process, there can be that the Lakshadweep Development Authority would have an extensive power that in the process of the plan of the development or planning and development authorities can evict the landowners wherein there is a bad layout or absolute development. And this is the one which the islanders are really worried about. They are having discontent and they are protesting against the Lakshadweep Development Authority that has been strongly pushed by the new administrator, that is Praful Khoda Patel, in the Lakshadweep group of islands. And if you look at the proposed regulations, because we have been talking about the proposed regulations which the islanders have a discontent against the regulations and they have sparked the protest against the administrators. So now we will look at what is the proposed regulation as per the Lakshadweep Development Authority. That the regulations are in regards to the provision of the orderly and progressive development of land. So look at it. It is orderly and progressive development of land both in urban and rural areas. And thereby this is also to preserve and improve the amenities thereof. That is in the group of Lakshadweep Islands. And the regulation also grants the permission to develop land. That is, it also gives us powers of control over the use of land. So this is the one which is a major point which the islanders feel that it is pushed by the real estate lobby and it is against the interest of the islanders. That is the one which they are against the Lakshadweep Development Authority, which has come up with a proposed regulation for the orderly and progressive development of land both in urban and rural areas, and also it would have powers of control over the use of land, and it will also, the regulation also will confer additional powers in respect of any kind of acquisition and development of land for planning, that is in regards to the Lakshadweep Development Authority, and that would be taken up by the planning and development authorities, which wherein there is a bad layout or absolute development, there is a chance that there could be that the development would take place and the real estate lobby would come into action, is the one which is the protest by the islanders that even their land would be evicted. So if you look at the islands taken for holistic development or Minokai, Bangaram Island, and then Tinnakhara, Cheriam, Suheli, Kalapeni, Kadmat, Agheti, Chetlat, Bitra. So these are all in the Arabian Sea, that is they are part of the Lakshadweep Islands. So this is very close to Kochi or Kerala coast, which you have with the Lakshadweep Islands. So this is again for the environmental and ecology perspective. You can go ahead with trying to have a better understanding about why the islanders are having discontent and they are protesting against the new administrator in regards to the slew of proposed regulations introduced by the administrator, part of the Lakshadweep Development Authority. So it could be a prelims perspective in regards to the key phrase Lakshadweep Development Authority also. And what are the regulations? We have looked at the regulations also, which could again be part of the prelims perspective. Which among the following are not the proposed regulation of the Lakshadweep Development Authority? So again, this is crucial for prelims perspective, that you need to understand the regulations which have been brought in by the new administrator as part of the Lakshadweep Development Authority in the Lakshadweep group of island in the Arabian Sea. And there is another news which is in regards to the WhatsApp. And we have seen this news that couple of days how the government of India has asked the WhatsApp group to make sure that they remove or they would be given a priority to the Indian users, wherein Indian users are neglected when compared with the European countries or the users of the European countries. And the Ministry of Electronics and IT on May 18 has gone ahead with providing or giving a notice to the WhatsApp. And the Ministry of Electronics and IT has told the WhatsApp that even if you are accepting or complying to the May 15 implementation deadline, that does not very categorically say that there would be a pardon or forgive to the WhatsApp. But that the kind of implementation with the WhatsApp is going ahead is against the values of informational privacy. It is against the data security and the user choice for Indian users. So WhatsApp is been now at the crossroad, wherein the Ministry of Electronics and IT are definitely trying to pinpoint the WhatsApp that they are not respecting the values of the informational privacy of the Indians and the data security and the user choice of Indian users. And this was the notice which was given to the WhatsApp. And as per the government, WhatsApp has updated the privacy policy. So here the point is that the privacy policy which has been updated by the WhatsApp, and wherein the government, that is the Ministry of Electronics and IT, has provided or given a notice or issued a notice to the WhatsApp that even though they are complying with the May 15 notification or implementation deadline, they are against the values of the informational privacy, data security and user choice. That is why the privacy policy which has been updated by the WhatsApp is not accepted by the government of India. And it says that it is in violation of several provisions of the existing Indian laws. That is what the government is as per the WhatsApp updated privacy policy. And the Facebook owned WhatsApp has told the government that it will not, please do understand, it has very clearly said that it will not limit the functionality for the users in the coming weeks, because it was the government which has asked the WhatsApp to provide or to come up with an answer within a week. But the Facebook has said that it will not limit any kind of its functionality for the users, that is for the Indian users, in the coming weeks. And it will continue the current approach of reminding the users, because what the WhatsApp says is it would certainly go ahead with taking up an approach of reminding the users, that is especially in regards to the Indian users, and update until the personal data protection law comes into effect. So look at the way the WhatsApp, that is a Facebook owned WhatsApp, is talking about that unless the personal data protection law in India comes into effect, the WhatsApp would go ahead with not limiting the functionality, and it will continue not limiting the functionality of the users, and it will continue the current approach to remind the users about its update until the personal data protection law comes into effect. And the recent update by the WhatsApp does not change any kind of privacy of personals or people's personal message. So it says that the recent update does not change or does not affect the privacy of the individuals or the people's personal messages. And the WhatsApp is also talking about the purpose to go ahead with update, and it will not, and it is certainly to provide an additional information. So here WhatsApp is making it very clear that it will go ahead with the current approach, and it will go ahead with providing the additional information about how people can interact with the businesses if they choose to do so. So it says that the recent update does not change the privacy of the people's personal message, but in turn the recent update will go ahead with making sure that it will provide additional information to the Indian users or the WhatsApp users that they can interact with the businesses. So what is the point? What we need to focus is that it would go ahead with providing the additional information only in regards to the interacting with the businesses if they choose to do so. And this is the only recent update which the WhatsApp is saying that, and it is negating what the government is talking about, that the privacy policy of WhatsApp is in violation of several provisions of the existing Indian laws. And the WhatsApp talks about it will go ahead with providing additional information to the people who can interact with the businesses if they choose to do so. So this is again in regards to the economy, or the kind of the from Ministry of Electronics and IT. We can take this in regards to the privacy policy of WhatsApp, and also in regards to the personal data protection law. What the government and the WhatsApp are going ahead with the different argument in regards to the privacy policy of the Indian users. And there is another news which is in regards to the FDI. So when we focus in regards to the FDI, definitely the foreign direct investments have flown into India have increased 10% in the year 2020-2021, and it has touched 81.72 billion US dollars. And the FDI equity inflows, please do understand here, it is FDI flows and FDI equity inflows have also risen to 19%, that is almost to 60 billion US dollars. And this is the information which has been provided by the Commerce and Industry Ministry. So if you look at FDI flows and FDI equity flows, so equity flows, it is the kind of funds which are getting into India for the companies. So it is the funding for the companies, already existing companies. So when we look at the FDI equity flows has also rose to 19%, and the FDI flows into India has increased to 10%. So FDI flows versus FDI equity flows, it is the FDI equity flow which has increased 19%, and that is 9% higher than the FDI flows. And this is the statement made by the Commerce and Industry Ministry. And if you look at the capital flows or FDI flows, if you look at, it is the Singapore which is at the top investor with almost 30%, and followed by US which is of 23% of FDI, and followed, or else the third is the Mauritius with 9% of capital flow, that is the FDI, foreign direct investments into India. So the first is Singapore as of now, then followed by US and Mauritius with the FDI into India. And the FDI equity flows, now if you look at, it is now topped by US, which wherein it is higher or tripled comparing with the 2019-20, and now 2021 it is the highest FDI equity flows. And then if you look at the UK, it has surged or increased 44% FDI equity flows into India. So certainly the FDI equity flows into India are from US and UK. That is, as I said, it is the funding the companies, already existing companies, wherein they required some amount of capital for the growth. And the sharpest growth among the top 10 FDI origin countries is recorded from the Saudi Arabia into India. And investments from the oil-rich nations have jumped a mere 90 million in 2019-20 to 2.8 billion. So certainly from 2019-20, comparing it with the 2020-2021, the investments from the oil-rich nations have increased from 90 million US dollars to 2.8 billion US dollars. So this is the great surge or rise or increase of the FDI and the FDI equity flows into India. And we will look at the top FDI destinations in India, that is which states in India have received the FDIs. So if you look at Gujarat is the one which is at the top with 37% of the foreign equity flows, and then followed by Maharashtra with 27%, and then the third is Karnataka with 13% equity flows, and then the rest is the rest of the country which has less than 23% of the foreign equity capital. So the foreign equity flows into India is now the top is with Gujarat, followed by Maharashtra and Karnataka. And if you look at which sectors have been part of the foreign equity flows into India, into Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, which are top three. So we have the computer, software and hardware, which has emerged as the top sector of the equity, FDI equity flow into India with 44% share of the total FDI equity flow. And then the followed by construction, that is infrastructure, with 13%, and then followed by the service sector with 8% respectively. So we had a thorough breakup of the what is FDI flows which has increased and the FDI equity flows which has increased, and from which countries the FDI have come into India, that is from Singapore, US and Mauritius, and the FDI equity flows from US and UK. And the investment from the oil-rich nations have increased from 90 million to 2.8 billion from 2019-20 to 2020-21. And the top FDI destination states in India in regards to the foreign equity inflows is Gujarat, followed by Maharashtra and Karnataka. And the sectors which are part of the foreign equity flows into India to the states in India are the computer, software and hardware, followed by construction and service sector. So this is in regards to the economy which we are focused, and especially emphasizing on the FDI flows and the FDI equity. So this is as per the economy which we need to focus. The kind of COVID-19 pandemic situation which the country is facing, which we have seen it in the year 2020 and also in the year 2021. But comparing it with the 2019-20 and 2020-21, the foreign direct investment flows and the foreign direct investment equity inflows have risen respectively with 10% and 90%. And this is a very good news in regards to the statement made by the Commerce and Industry Ministry. And certainly, I feel that this session was informative, knowledgeable, and also very critical for mains and prelims perspective. So I would say a very big thank you to all, and then good luck to you all. And then do maintain consistency, stick to your schedule, and take care of your physical health and mental health. And do like the video, share the video, and subscribe the AKS IAS Academy English Medium YouTube channel, and also have access to the website and the Telegram link of AKS IAS Academy. And then see you again tomorrow with the daily news analysis at Advanced Knowledge System. Till then, thank you, goodbye, and then take care.